This is the Curious Expedition 2. Those of you who have been around the channel for a while probably remember that we spent quite a lot of time with the first game, which I enjoyed a great deal. So I'm eager to see what they've cooked up here for the sequel. I've kind of intentionally kept myself in the dark on this so that we could discover it all through play, and this seems like a fine time to start doing that. I mean, to be perfectly honest, if it's just basically the systems from the first game, but with new content and, of course, the new art style, I'm totally fine with that. I really had a lot of fun with that first game. Seems to be... Is it okay? There we go. Okay. Choose a leader. Each expedition leader has different followers, gear, and skills. So, right now for the demo, it looks like we only have two choices. Do we want to be a treasure hunter or an anthropologist? Let's go treasure hunter. After long days of traveling, I had finally arrived in Paris and the under-construction grounds of the Exposition Universelle. Here I was to find fame and fortune among the great explorer clubs of this noble city. Brimming with optimism, I looked out on the fairgrounds. The Expo Grounds in Paris is your hub between expeditions. Each location has a different purpose. Well, let's go to the bar. Every treasure hunter loves to stop by the bar. I entered the famed L'Horloge en Verre, the glass clock, and surveyed my surroundings. I did my best there. Listen, I'm Canada adjacent, but not Canadian. I don't speak French too well. Renowned as a meeting place for would-be explorers, it was a likely place to find eager adventurers to join my trek. Yeah, let's see if we can't recruit a follower or two here. I gave word that I was looking for hardy men and women to join my expedition. Soon I had gathered a small set of brave adventurers to choose between. So a field nurse, a translator, or a British soldier. I think we're already, my guess is, as a treasure hunter, we're probably already fairly good at combat, and we have a follower here who might also be good at combat. Let's take, perhaps a translator. We might have a hard time... Oh, she's a sexist translator, though. Not so good to have a sexist in a mixed-gender party. The British soldier, also quite sexist. Paulina Marx is merely a kleptomaniac. Okay, rough start here. Lots of negative traits. Alright, well, I think we're going to take Yana, then... Boy, kleptomania is pretty bad. Yeah, we're going to take the translator. Not ideal. We could utilize a translator and welcome Yana Mirzayan to our team. She understands many foreign languages. Well, yeah, that seems like it would be a useful skill set for that job. Alright, let's get started. I guess we can go back to the bar. I assume there's nothing else to do there. Yeah, okay. Start the expedition. So it's gonna, I was to set sail the next morning and decided to enjoy a final night out. When we sat together, Yana Mirzayan looked at me and suddenly asked what I was most looking forward to see on the upcoming expedition. Well, the treasures, probably. It was not what Yana expected. Absorbed in her own thoughts, I left Yana alone with my answer and went to bed. Not before doing a jaunty little... Was that a stretch or a dance? I don't know what that was. Alright, so it's going to kick us out here onto a procedurally generated map, and we're going to move around hunting for treasure while being somewhat limited on our exploration by supplies and stuff, if this is anything like the first game. Supplies and our overall stress level, which can become a real problem. Ancient legends told of a great golden temple on the island that loomed ahead. A massive ancient thing, and made of pure gold. Not a great material for building a temple out of, actually. I was to find this legendary structure, adding to the already substantial honor of the Royal Avalon Society. Boy, this really does look quite similar to the previous game. I mean, mechanically speaking, the actual look of it is very different. Alright, so... the map is made out of hexes here. You can see the cost in stress of moving over these tiles. Flat ground is relatively quick and easy to move over. Getting up on mountains and hills is a little bit harder. Ooh, there's something going on over here. Maybe we should go and try to encounter this person. So we have 100 stress right now. Or 100, whatever the opposite of stress is. You want that number to be high. When the number gets low is when you are stressed. 100 positive mental state, perhaps? Alright, we've discovered something here. Let's approach these people before we enter their burial ground, because if we do our treasure hunter thing in their burial grounds, my guess is they're going to have some feelings about that. It was a miserable rainy day when we encountered the natives. They were herding an unruly mass of cattle through the driving rain, fighting to keep the beasts in line. I hailed the tribesmen. They seemed undisturbed by our sudden appearance, and responded by entreating our help in controlling the herd. Okay, so we have a dice challenge here. Roll non-blank faces in the shown color to succeed. So every member of our party has certain dice that they contribute to our overall dice pool. You can see we have 2 green, 3 red, and 1 blue here. The blue one will not help us at all. Let's try to help them herd their cattle. I think we have a reasonable chance of success here. We just need... none of our green dice came up success. That's a shame. This is probably going to hurt then. I did my best, but I am no cowboy of the American West. The cattle were spooked by booming thunder and began to stampede. And then we all ran desperately away. Boy, really cover some ground here. Okay, all the way back to their village, apparently. I was badly bruised in the ensuing chaos, but the tribesmen seemed to at least appreciate the attempt, so +1 standing with the local people. You did what you could. I tried not to be distracted by the braying of the cattle as I pondered what to do before moving on. So we have our man here, our translator, and a donkey. I do not want to gift our animal to them because a donkey is very useful. But we can... Let's talk to him. I wanted to know more about the culture of these people. Delicately, I inquired about the nature of their traditions and customs. Well, their history has been passed down for centuries, of course. They believed that all objects had a spirit, all things an agency. Their shamans grew wise by communicating with these spirits. Our business complete, the herders wished me a hearty goodbye and sent me on my way. So, our standing with the local tribes is something we have to manage kind of carefully. When it's positive, that can have huge benefits. When it's negative, that can have huge detriments. But also, most of the things we do to gather treasure will lower our standing with them because, we're basically looting their country, which you can understand why they would be upset. It is possible, in the first game at least, to score well without having to be a colonialist looter, basically, but you have to manage your actions pretty carefully. As we entered the village, an emissary informed me that the chieftain was awaiting my visit. I would surely anger him if I did not come. I was welcomed into the village by several smiling locals. Yana Mirzian seemed to know the language and began to converse freely. Okay, cool. Alright, so we can meet with their chieftain. We could rest here to help restore our sanity a little bit. Resting is going to cost us... Probably. What do we actually have to trade? A man from the village carried over a heavy bag, revealing the village's trade goods. So, barter. We have a pistol we probably ought to hold on to, some shovels, which will obviously help us dig in case we have a sense that there's something to dig for, a torch, which can be used in combat, but also will sometimes just be used in events. There are certain things you cannot do without a torch, like in dark caves, for instance. Whiskey, which restores sanity, but also carries the risk of drinking a lot of alcohol. And our buddy here has a big sword. The sword has a very high value. Look at that, 96 value, but obviously not exactly a thing we want to part with. So we could pick up an elephant tusk. You'd see it has 7 trade value, and that thing below trade value is prestige. We are out here trying to acquire items that give prestige, because that's our score. I would love to buy an elephant tusk, if we could make that happen. Bait, torches, coca leaves, which restore your sanity, but also, have some effects. You might be familiar with the real-world effects of coca leaves and things derived from them. Okay, so that has 7 trade value. I'd be willing to trade you 2 shovels. Do you have anything that has low enough trade value for us to... We could pick up some water, I suppose. All water does is make it easier to travel across desert terrain. It lowers the sanity cost of crossing deserts. I mean, right now, we're just leaving 3 trade value on the table if we don't take some water. So there we go. We can make this a perfectly even deal. If you trade in such a way that you give the natives massively more value than they give you, you do gain standing with them, which can be a valuable way to do that. But we just don't have enough trade goods right now to try anything like that. Alright, we don't really need to rest in their village right now. Let's meet with the chieftain. The chieftain welcomed me to her tent, offering a steaming cup of tea. To my delight, it was surprisingly delicious and probably derived from coca leaves. After a time, the chieftain made it clear that the custom among her people was to offer a gift when visiting. She looked at me expectantly. All right, well, how about that's the amount of value she expects the gift to be worth. We could give her some whiskey. Oof, some whiskey and a torch. Yeah, fine. Here, a gift. I reluctantly handed over a token of respect and goodwill. The chieftain nodded, satisfied. I was now free to make one request of my own. Oh, interesting. I would like... Listen, is there anything you guys want done? A wizened shaman was brought in. He planned to journey to a location of spiritual importance and inquired as to whether we would be able to provide protection on the way. Yeah, easy. Plus, I would like to see your place of spiritual importance. He nodded, pleased. After a brief introduction, he gave detailed directions to his destination, an ancient shrine, which I marked on my map. All right, welcome aboard, Pujet. I thanked the chieftain for their time and made my exit. I emerged from the hut, blinking rapidly as my eyes adjusted to the light outside. We felt comfortable among the welcoming villagers. Yeah, things are going all right. Visit ruler has a standing requirement of 3. It looks like we have 3. But, it has a standing requirement of 3, and that's why it was lit up in the first place. We can't do it a second time, I think is what's being communicated here. All right, well, let's get on that travel. If we decided to stay with them, it would harm our standing with them. So I think it's best we just move on, since we don't really need to. One native clasped my hand in respect and wished me farewell. Yeah, for right now, we don't seem like horrible, monstrous people to them. Let's see about maintaining that. Let's see, there's a wood structure over here. Let's head in that direction. So you can see each tile has a terrain type. There's forest, there's fields, there's deserts, there's hills, and they all have different properties, different sanity costs to cross. Standing on hills will give you more vision of the surrounding area. It's hard to see through jungle, stuff like that. Okay, so can we interact with this wood structure at all? No, it looks like we cannot. Alright, well, we're trying to go pretty much straight east, but I'm gonna veer off a little bit north here so we can get next to whatever this point of interest is. We found a different shrine. We'll examine it. I think we probably shouldn't mess with it with Pujet in our party. The temple before us warranted both fear and respect. Rotting human heads on spikes circled the structure, their mouths sewn shut as if to silence them. Maybe you should relax a bit. We're just gonna leave for right now. I decided it was better not to disturb the shrine further and quickly departed. So that, the reason that word silence was highlighted there, you could probably guess, is because it is meaningful. Each of the shrines potentially has a penalty for disturbing it and stealing the stuff within. Let's travel out of here. Let's go hunt some wildlife, maybe. Never mind, that wildlife is getting away. I would really like to hunt some wildlife, please. Yeah, let's stalk some antelope. I could see the beast on the horizon, its ears twitching suspiciously. Hunting it would take time and entail risk, but could pay off. So we'll lose a standing if we are successful here, or maybe we'll lose the standing just for the attempt. There's pretty good odds that we'll succeed on this, though. Yeah, there we go. We got at least one. I spent more than a day following the beast, taking care to stay upwind and out of sight. Eventually my patience was rewarded, and I felled the animal with a clean shot. Alright, so we got an antelope pelt and some raw meat. I think this is the antelope pelt icon this is the animal pelt icon from the first game, which is why it's in a completely different art style than the other stuff here. Alright, meat is cookable, obviously. You can just eat the raw meat, that's not ideal. Also, our sanity's starting to get low. We should probably do something about that. Why don't we... Oh, actually, you can't eat raw meat at all. I think maybe you could in the first game, but it was very bad. So all we really have to restore our sanity is whiskey, so let's just enjoy a little bit of whiskey. Yeah, that sanity notification is also the one from the first game. Alright, let's get up on this hill, see what this point of interest is, maybe encounter these people over here. They might move away before we get there. This should give us some good vision as well. Alright, let's approach this trader. To my surprise, I encountered a colorfully dressed wandering trader. He gave a wide grin when he saw me, placing a bulging pack full of wares on the ground. He hesitated before presenting us with a selection of his wares. It seemed that he had somehow acquired goods from the West out here in the wilds. So he's got first aid kits, which could be very useful. Ooh, canned food. Heavy crates, large crates that can be strapped to your animal, allows your party to carry significantly more goods, but makes movement more arduous. So we will run into inventory capacity issues. Might be nice to have some big crates. A well-spoken machete. Obviously, some difficulties there with the text. Again, these are early demos. Also a pistol. You know what? I don't think we need any of that, but I do want this food. What can we trade him for food? We have 10 value worth of animal pelt. He doesn't want our water. The elephant tusk has some value. Thing is, I really want way more food. What if we went super hard and tried to get all of the food here? I'll trade you this raw meat, which I don't really need, and my other shovel, and both of my torches. I don't know if it's a good idea to do both torches. I do wish that the tooltip was like anywhere else, because it completely covers up the middle of the screen. But alright, I'll take this deal. We'll trade him a bunch of stuff for 6 canned food. We are a little short on food at the moment. So we could enter their burial ground. Obviously, entering a native burial ground and messing with the stuff in there, not great for our standing. I think for right now, as long as we have this guy with us, I'm just gonna push on here. So you see, the tin can containing good old English beans is only enjoyable to a certain degree. Basically, your character, I'm clicking on this right now and nothing's happening. Your character will only eat this if the situation is dire enough. If you're below 30 sanity. This really is remarkably similar to the first game. We're going to move up to here. This is going to spend almost all of our sanity. Every time we reveal a new site, we are gaining XP, and once we gain enough XP, we'll be able to level up our character and gain additional dice and stuff. Let's go ahead and eat some of those good old English beans and drop our man off at this shrine here. And then once he's no longer with us, we'll maybe go do some looting. We arrived at the majestic stone structure. We will deliver the shaman. We had reached our destination. Bridget gave us a token of his thanks and began quietly preparing his rituals. +2 totem stick. I mean, it looks like he just disappeared. I'm gonna stick my head in here. Inside was a small empty chamber, a long hallway leading to the main altar. I took a breath, keeping an eye out for traps. Okay, this is different. We have the option to search for secrets or to search with a torch for even better chance of success. So we have one green die that only has success faces on it. Do I think we're likely to get 2 green successes? I mean, we have a better than 50-50 shot at this. I'm going to go for it. Let's search for secrets. Okay, we got there. 2 successes, no bonus. After pressing a loose stone in the wall, I was astounded when a hidden mechanism inside rotated and revealed a hidden sarcophagus. Well, maybe this is a bad idea, but we're going to open it. And hey, look at that. It's a mummy. It's worth a lot of points. I'm taking it. I stored the mummy in a large sack and pondered what to do next. Why don't we just go ahead and enter the altar chamber? I considered the main chamber once more. An image of whole villages vanishing without a trace adorned a large stone altar, warning of the consequences of thievery. We have an option to investigate the altar. So I'm guessing from the fact that the meet with the chieftain option was blue before, that probably these blue options are things you don't necessarily have the ability to do, but we've met whatever the requirement is. So there's a jeweled scepter and also some totem sticks. When rammed into the ground, nobody seems to dare coming closer. Let's take all those, and also the jeweled scepter. That's a lot of points and also trade value. A strange stillness filled the air. Only later would I understand. The people of this land had vanished without a trace. I felt a pang of guilt for what my meddling had wrought. We'd better hurry before the natives notice what we have done. Doesn't seem like the appropriate dialogue for what we have done here. So, our mission is still to enter the Golden Pyramid. My years of adventuring experience suggest to me that this might be the location of the Golden Pyramid, provided that the spawning rules are still the same as they were in the first game. And we might need to start worrying about food again. Hey, would you look at that? Let's go ahead and approach. The majestic Golden Pyramid towered above its surroundings. Overcoming all obstacles, we had survived to find glory. Well, let's just go ahead and enter. After weeks of traveling, extraordinary pride overcame me. I knew that my name, Jacqueline Rougeau, would be synonymous with victory. So that's kind of like the basic idea of an expedition in the Curious Expedition. A full game is made up of several of those. In the first game, it was 5, and also it was only on the easier difficulties that you would get to the pyramid, and that would immediately end the thing. On the higher difficulty, you would also have to make it back to the ship. There's a lot of management that goes on. You're recruiting different kinds of team members. And listen, if you really want to know about it, there are series right here on this channel that you can watch. I really enjoyed that game. And like I said, if this game is just more of the same but with more content, I am totally down for it. This one is called We Are the Caretakers. I've been aware of this for quite some time because... one of the main writers from Hypnospace Outlaw is working on it, and that's a pedigree that I take very seriously at this point. I really love that game. So We Are the Caretakers is about managing animals, team members, and civilizations that you can't always control. Expect to make hard choices, lose animals and squad members, and reputation along the way. And this is a limited demo, of course. Let's get in here and try it out. I really like the look of it. There's a real Afrofuturism thing going on here. Character select. Which one of these very impressive masks do we wear? I like this one slightly better. To be perfectly honest with you, they're kind of similar. They're not all that different. So here we have our landscape. We must investigate some incident. There's a bunch of people standing around a thing. You are not the conductor anymore, Duquesne. Every action you hide only serves to damage the caretakers. I will not apologize for believing you have better things to do than glad-hand diplomats or chase these awful corpses. That is why I will not ask you to apologize, only to remain silent. We head to the incident site now. Alright, there's a little bit of stress in our group already. So you are the current conductor of the Caretakers. Left-click to select our unit, and then right-click to tell it where to move. Alright, so are we moving... Is this from one tile to another, or do we have... Okay, so yeah, we have to scout the new tile when we enter it. There's a little bit of a sort of a Northgard feeling there. We have to move to each artifact in the area individually. I don't know what these artifacts do, but it seems important. And that is some massive kind of wildlife right there. We could use F to speed up time, but why would I do such a thing? What have we encountered? Are you ready to see the site, Conductor? Yeah, that's why I came over here. It's the same elements as any of the other sites. Dead Ron, symbols carved into the muscle tissue with their own horn. That's kind of a screwed up thing to do. And did the other sites have a survivor? What do you mean, a survivor? Well, there's a baby Ron here. Former Conductor Duquesne said not to bother you with such things. Ah, is that so? We're investigating a string of murders, shepherding relations with international allies. The last thing we need is some orphan running underfoot. It's been some time since I raised a Ron. We'll call him Akachi. This is a mistake. You attempting to usurp my authority is a mistake. Akachi is an opportunity. His blood is fresh. The trespassers could still be in the area, and that means someone in a nearby town could have seen them. Let's move out. So, what I know about this game is that, Akachi has joined us. Look at him, he's adorable. Visit the big town to secure it. Towns may contribute funds, trespasser tip-offs, new recruits, visibility, and more. Yeah, what little I know about this game is that it's, wildlife management is an important theme. We're attempting to preserve the natural food chain and fauna of this area. To check on the baby Ron's vitals, open their stats by clicking on their portrait below. Akachi the baby Ron is adorable. Doesn't say that anywhere here, but it feels like it ought to. And I think is healthy. I mean, 49 stamina, that's almost all the stamina. Okay. Akachi's current class. It turns out maybe not all the stuff is in just yet. You know, it's a very early demo. Okay, let's go to Big Town. Go say hi to these people and see if they have seen our murderer. I know why you're here. You're looking for the young men with the Ron horns. They aren't trespassers. I do not wish to see Shadrins harmed, even if they are compromised. Please, promise me that you won't hurt them. They'll receive the same treatment the trespassers do, for the same crime. Murder will not go unpunished. Tell me where they are. I've given you access through the northern barrier wall. The men left that way, then headed west. They tried to trade the Ron horns in town. No one would touch them. Yeah, you know better. Okay, so we've unlocked part of the barrier. Well, I guess let's go and say howdy to this poacher, shall we? If I just click over here, I assume they'll route automatically. I don't need to make this any more difficult than it has to be. We have an optional objective to disarm snares. Do we see any snares? I'm not even 100% sure what I'd be looking for. Probably this. Okay, bring a unit to disarm it before it can... Do I just step on it? Okay. I was a little worried that just clicking on it was going to cause me to fall into the snare, you know? Apparently, my people are a little bit smarter than that. You gotta trust your units. Get rid of the Ron horn before they catch us! Yeah, it's a little too late for that. Surrender or suffer. No, we didn't do anything wrong. Yet we can still see the Ron's blood on your hands. You forgot to visit the sink when you were in town. Alright, so... Encounters are turn-based. Each turn, choose your unit's tactics and click on Begin Round. Your characters will decide their actions based on the tactics you select. So we don't necessarily have direct control over everybody. Set strategy and targeting each round to control which abilities your targets use. Aggressive stance prefers stamina-damaging abilities, while diplomatic stance will prefer will-focused buffs and non-threatening abilities. Okay, so we can defeat them by depleting their will, which is like is a little bit less violent of a strategy. The people in the town wanted us not to hurt this guy. Let's see if we can do that. We'll go diplomatic, and there's only one enemy, so our targeting here doesn't really matter, right? Alright, we do not want to flee. Choose to authorize whether your characters can use finishing moves. Huh. Go for his will. Let's see what's up. I really like the music so far, by the way. Okay, a barrage doesn't feel like... Maybe not all of our characters know how to damage the enemy will, or maybe this is just like a battle where we don't really have that as an option. I mean, that character used a will thing. Intimidate's got to be will targeting, right? I am not yet clear on what exactly we're looking at in terms of, like, how to read the health. Obviously, the bar under that guy was depleting. Do we maybe only see will or health, depending on which one's lower? I was kind of expecting to see 2 bars, you know? Again, this is like a pretty... This one looks like it's in a pretty early state, even earlier than some of the others. So, some of the UI stuff not being super clear may just be due to that. Trespassers gave us the horn. We've never seen anything like them. We were afraid. We didn't mean to do anything wrong, I swear. I don't necessarily believe that. Lies. We execute them where they stand and stop the murders, or make an example of them. I can handle the fallout with the Shadrins. No, I'm taking him back to HQ, and you are extremely fired, dude. You have to be joking. No, you lie, you undermine me, I chose the villain voice for you? You advocate against an orphaned Ron, when these creatures are quite literally why we exist. When me and Akachi come back to the HQ, you will not be there. Have I made myself clear? Yes, conductor. Welcome to the Caretakers, little one. We have work to do. Well, Duquesne's going to be a problem in the future, I can tell you that right now. He's not just going to go away quietly. Alright, we did our optional objective. We got coins and research points and reputation. Because we didn't murder the entire heck out of that guy, presumably. You know, I heard about Duquesne. It's about time we went our separate ways. But I understand that probably wasn't easy. You don't have to mince words. His presence was an attempt to please the Shadran government, which might have been a mistake in the first place. Are you prepared for people to be politely furious with us again? It's what I live for, conductor. Come, we have much to do, I assume. I don't really know what my job is. Okay, so choose a mission from the globe. This one has a bunch of glowy stuff around it, which makes it seem important. I don't really know what we're looking at here. Let's stop into our teams area. You can edit the characters in each unit. To replace Duquesne, just drag and drop any character into an empty slot in the conductor's guard. Okay, so we have a lot of people and resources to manage. Obviously, this is just like to give you an idea of what managing the game at full clip will look like. Not that we're actually going to be using all of these teams. So a pacifist who lowers threat each time they take an action. I'm not 100% clear on how threat works. My inclination would be to think it's like a tanking stat, right? Whoever has the most threat gets attacked. But when we were attacking that poacher with our will reducing abilities, it seemed that we were increasing his threat. So maybe it means a different thing that I'm thinking it means. You know what, Ula? Welcome aboard. We're going to try not to use damaging actions. This is a talking to people type run. When healed, deals damage equal to the amount of healing back to the healer. Wow, that seems like a downside. You are patient. You know, I could see patient being both a positive and a negative thing. Ooh. And never be surprised. That seems useful. Let's bring you on board. And then the rest of you, I don't know, just chill out. Here in the atrium, visitors await you. Click on the detained poacher to deal with them. Yeah, Dan, what's your deal? Dan was detained in the field for having Ronhorn in their possession. Well... Reform and recruit, so cost reputation to do that. I'm not clear on how much we have. I wish this was a number, not a bar. I'm gonna try to reform Daeon. I don't want to just throw him back out there, because who's to say it won't happen again, right? Alright, detainee recruited. On the map screen, you can collect your next mission, or select your next mission. Click on Cray's Discovery. Is that this one? Okay, here we go. Your advisor Cray requests a meeting with you at the site of the dead Ron. I could do that. You find Cray couched beside a desecrated Ron corpse. Again, its skin appears to have been flayed, marks carved into the meat beneath with its own horn. That's just like, it seems like a tremendous amount of work. Well, we did take a reputation hit already, but I'm more interested in knowing how this happened. Shadra's barrier is supposed to create a closed environment. Nothing gets in and nothing gets out. How is this happening? If you eliminate all other possibilities, this has to be an inside job. It's clean and sloppy all at once. Whoa, check this guy out. He stands up and gestures around you. This isn't a stash of poached Ronhorns or a basement full of hide. It's in the open. Whoever did this wanted us to find it, and had the assistance needed to cover their tracks. I know that Duquesne meant something to you. I'm sorry about what happened. Well, I feel for the man. I mean, it must hurt to see others stand for a movement you never represented in the first place. You and Cray look over the scene in silence. This will get worse. Alright, and then... Okay, so that's already completed. This just represents the state of our barrier, maybe? Alright, keeping the peace. This is what the Caretakers were meant to be doing. Protecting the Ron that power our way of life, and preserving Shadra. So go out there, survive, try not to die on the first day outside. Protect the Ron, defeat a poacher boss, do other stuff. This button is pulsing at us, though. We should probably spend some of our research points. So you can see there's a lot going on here that's very reminiscent of XCOM, obviously. Let's see, we could improve our uniform to get some armor, we could get training for Will. I'm assuming we will unlock this stuff as we research the stuff to its left. Town healing heals unit stamina faster. Or you have an additional unit slot. It feels like we have an awful lot of units that we don't need already. This is probably not the way to go. Let's go for basic uniform. We are trying not to die, right? That's an important part of our cause. Let's just increase our living through combat stats. Alright, I guess there's not much left to do except for this. What is this resource? Ah, okay. You lose if all the Ron are killed. Our whole job out here is to make sure the Ron are okay. Farmers clashing with Ron isn't unusual. The condition of the Ron is, they're agitated. The data I'm receiving from monitoring devices in the area just doesn't make sense. Well, data aside, we're saving Ron from themselves. We've done this before, and we'll do it again. We'll get in contact with the Ron and demoralize them with our incredible intimidation abilities. Okay, so we have a Ron named Milton, which is fairly adorable. Alright, remember, the farmers don't hate the Ron, they hate their crops getting trampled. Gather as much data as you can. We need to know why the behavior of the Ron is changing. Alright, for the next few days we'll investigate, and keep the peace. I really like the idea of a tactical game that's about keeping peace and, like, tending to things, because these games are almost always about the exact opposite of that, right? You solve all of your problems by killing everything. So this is first of all, it's an interesting take on this genre in particular, but secondly, I think we kind of just need more games that are about the opposite of killing, whatever the opposite of killing in any given situation is. So complete missions successfully by achieving the objectives. That's how objectives work. Okay, deploy additional units to cover more ground and complete objectives more efficiently. So we could have deployed with more than one objective, or with more than one unit, except I don't know. Ah, I see. We can pull in any of the units that we had set up on the previous screen for some of this resource that we just have a huge amount of. I mean, we may as well throw them all down, right? Leslie and Jonah, get in here. You have important things to do. We're going to need somebody to go to the far corner, because there is that Ron that has to be taken care of down there. Scouting this area is not revealing anything interesting. So there's kind of a real-time strategy component to this. Ooh, go get resources. You should go and chat with this village. Convert to gain daily support funds. Ooh, I do love support funds. Oh, conductor. You don't look happy to see me. I'm just surprised. I thought the caretakers of Duquesne's reign were no longer welcome. I've made a new life. The area is volatile. We need a community leader, someone that people can trust. Do you remain a caretaker, Jadu? I'll get my staff. Okay. Pick someone up. Lelise found that thing we pointed them at. You, aha. Snares. What do these poachers think they're doing? We also need to convert the big town. So I could probably be using, I could be using the keyboard to jump around a little bit more efficiently. Alright. We're undoing these snares. You scout this way, because we're already going to be able to scout into that corner. What is this? Uh-oh. The Ron are under attack. We're coming! Apparently Lelise is a very common name. Okay, first things first. Get over here and stop this. You've encountered the poacher. Let's go in there and shout at him. Shout at him real good. Okay, so the Ron are not actually part of the battlefield. We don't have to, don't necessarily have to do anything about them. So we want to try going diplomatic. We took a pacifist character specifically for this reason. If we go diplomatic, okay, so we see an indication of what people want to do already. And the character with the diplomatic trait gets upset if... Oh wait, am I misremembering? Maybe it just doesn't show up on this bar. This bar only shows stuff that's directly battle relevant, perhaps. Alright, well, try to be diplomatic to the weakest one of them. Yeah, just knock somebody out of combat as quickly as possible. We see an indication of the turn order. Unfortunately, I don't really have a great sense of what these abilities are doing. We've given him weak-minded, which is a debuff we can't see on this screen, sadly. Wow, that seemed like a lot of damage relative to the attacks we've seen so far. Yeah, for example. Okay, so the kick is just a stun. You're going to guard Akachi. So Akachi loses threat. That suggests that threat is, in fact, the thing I thought it was, right? Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of people who are real good at talking-type solutions. Also, Akachi is in a lot of trouble here. Akachi, what is your stamina at? It is at none. You are in critical condition. Yes, I think a heal is probably a good idea. So we can see people's stamina. Okay, their will is the blue meter next to that, right? 44 will. We're not exactly killing it here on the diplomatic strategy, but I don't know that we have a lot of other options. Our will damage attacks really don't seem to do that much damage, though. Uh-oh. Akachi had a finishing move used on them. They're still alive, but you need to help them recover after the mission in HQ. Boy, these guys really hate Ron. Maybe we should have just come in here and laid the smackdown, so to speak. So the threat meter affects critical hits, chance of opposition, fleeing, and poacher aggression. Okay. It's trying hard to tell me this is what threat does. But I refuse to listen. Alright, Akachi has seen better days. So we have a heal going on. You're stunned. We expect to get barraged again. Yeah, maybe we gotta... This strategy's not really working. Maybe we gotta just lay him out. I don't think I have a team that's really capable of doing enough will damage for this to work. Yeah, look at how much more damage we do with stamina attacks. It is a little weird that their will is not visible on this screen. So it turns out violence may be a way easier way to solve this particular problem, which is, you know, true to life, if nothing else. Oof, okay. We can probably prevent the finishing move from happening here. This guy moves pretty late in the turn order, and also he's stunned, so I'm relatively confident we will have this under control. We get basically another whole round from here to take him down. Okay, victorious-ish. I really wanted to get that done in a different way. Also, why did Sage get 68 XP? Well, I have no idea how the XP system really works. Alright, you guys grab this. Poachers will spawn from here. Can I disable the poacher spawn? If not, we can at least talk to Mena, right? Or start working with Mena. Let's see. Oh. The boss has been located. Alright, well, I'm starting to have some idea of how the combat system works. So the Ron will want to come over here. We've lost sight of that one. No, we haven't. Never mind. You never lose sight of a Ron. Look at the size of them. Alright, let's move you guys out to here. Then get back across the map and make sure we take care of Mena before some more poachers show up. No, do we just... We don't actually interact with the Ron in any way. We just have to fight poachers that approach them. Alright, well that means you can do this. Here, we can go talk to these guys in the Shadran settlement. The energy of the Ron purifies your air, powers your barrier, and lights your homes at night. You need the Ron. Yeah, you know what else I need? Someone to pay for all the cabbages that got trampled last night. And it better be you, because it sure isn't going to be me. Okay, well, we can talk about that. What are you guys doing right now? You need to discover this region. We also probably need to deal with that snare. You go get this currency. You guys also go get some currency. We need to keep moving here because we don't want to give poachers any more time to spawn than absolutely necessary. Is this the big town? Well, the eastern boss is right there, and maybe not a great thing to approach with this small team. I kind of assumed we were only going to be using one of our teams, so I didn't even bother to actually fill all the rosters, and now I'm feeling like that was an error. Hey, you guys, go over here and disarm this. They feel reluctant to take orders. Alright, that Ron is actually quite close to that spawn, or to that trap, rather. Let's get you guys down here. If we're going to take on the boss with anybody, obviously we want it to be the conductor, because this is the largest party. Although, honestly, it's a party that's in pretty poor shape. Maybe we want to move these guys in. Caretaker saved my grandfather. The ranger pulled him out of the path of a Ron stampede one night just before he was trampled. It would be an honor to welcome you into our homes. Rena, get some stew for the caretakers! Okay, so we've converted all the towns in the area. Let's, Oh. No, you do not get to attack that wonderful, beautiful Ron. What do you think you're doing? Alright, let's bring half a unit up against this boss, and then we have another half a unit in the area. And we're just going to go for an aggressive strategy, right? Well, if I go neutral, my healer's going to use heal, which might be relevant. I guess, can I see... We can't really see the initiative order before we commit our attacks, huh? Let's start with aggressive moves. These kicks have a chance to stun, so we might be able to get out of here without, Never mind that thing I was about to say. Okay, we got one of them stunned. That's something. Yeah, the music's really good. Okay, you definitely need to do your heal thing. That was a very hard hit. We're still gonna get one kick off, hopefully not on the same... Darn it. I guess I could have switched targeting to ensure that kick would go to the other target. That would have been the smart move. Okay, that hurts. Ooh, wow. That heal is not very effective. So... if we go... strongest... Interesting that changing the targeting moved you from heal to, Oh no, you were always in a mood to kick someone. If I hit random here, there's at least some chance that we'll apply 2 stuns. But maybe we just want to focus on the... You know what? Focus on the weakest. Just try to take the guy down. Alright, if this puts you... No, it didn't quite put him down. Got him into a finishable state. Okay, we finished him off with Recruit. That was, we didn't even have to take the other guy out. We recruited the boss. That's good enough. Uh-oh. That's a big, ominous shadow. Oh. Ray, what am I seeing? Wow. Okay, they appear to be pods? We've got pods dropping from pods. Dropping from what? Do not conveniently lose signal with me, Cray. Oh, I know why the Ron were agitated. We spent so much time looking at the ground, searching for signals and answers and reasons. We should have looked up. Okay, that's ominous. Can I get a little bit more information than that, please, Cray? Nope, that's what we get to see. Again, these are very early demos. I'm still very interested in seeing where this is going. I like the writing so far. It feels like the characters have real personalities. I like the music a lot. I'm like I'm excited. I'm very excited for We Are the Caretakers. I hope some of you out there are too.